As much as we all love pretty women, some of us, mainly me, aren't equipped to handle it. I'm referring to the ultimate in Final Fantasy. So there's a lot of people who aren't going to touch this, as wonderful as it is, and I'm glad the people that enjoy that type of content have something to do. This is more catered to those people who aren't going to be touching ultimates and what else you can do in 7.1. I'm going to call this more of a filler patch, kind of, because there is things to do, but generally if you aren't interested in doing the ultimate, you probably aren't going to be the type of person who's interested in doing the chaotic raid that is coming out later in the year. I believe it comes out on Christmas or Christmas week. So here's some ideas on things that you can do besides that, because this is a great time to get caught up on other things, such as old relics. Whether they be the ARR relics, the Heavensward relics, the Maneuver relics, you could dive into Eureka, even though now is not the greatest time in my own opinion, but it could be a good time. You have to check it out for your own servers. I generally think Eureka's more popular at the end of an expansion rather than a patch like this that doesn't have raid content, but that's on each server's own. You'd have to try out for yourself. Same goes with Shadowbringers. I don't expect Bajra and Zadnor to be as filled, but that is something that you could check out and see if they're available for you. Other types of content that you can do, whether you want to do it in a group or solo, are deep dungeons. That's what I've been tackling. I've been tackling the solo challenges, trying to go for Necromancer, Lone Hero, and I think the one in Future Queen and King. I believe that's the Eureka Orthos one, but you do not have to do those alone. There are ways you can make Gillen here. Each one has a special mount that you could go after. The Heaven on High and Eureka Orthos have their own mount for clearing 4 times that you don't have to do solo at all. But if that's not something else that maybe that's too challenging for you as well, or that's just not the type of content that you enjoy, other things you can get caught up on are your tribe quest, or what are they, socialization quest? I don't know, the names changed 3 times in the last year. So you could get caught up on those. There's lots of accessories or what would it be, emotes tied behind those. Some have hairstyles, all of them have triple triad cards, so that's something that you could get caught up on. Speaking of and segueing off of triple triad cards, you could do triple triad. I finally got caught up. I started working on it in August and I got caught up last week. I'll have a video on that. If you are interested in trying to get caught up on triple triad, it is one of those things that you have to do a lot of quests for. There's a lot of NPCs. I think we're at 125 in the game, and if that's something that you're interested in, getting caught up on triple triad, now is a great time to do that. Other things that you can do that are going to take a long time that you can now have the opportunity to do is big fishing, or any type of fishing, whether it be ocean fishing, the diadem fishing, just fishing log, big fish, final fish. Now is a great time to get caught up on that. I wouldn't call that difficult as in it's hard. There is lots of things that you can do in order to get caught up on fishing. A lot of it's going to be RNG, but now that you have a lot of time to do that, now is a great time to tackle a challenge like that. Then I think that old expansions Glamour is going to be a good thing, even mounts. I believe that Shadowbringers mounts and Glamour will be extremely easy to farm at this point with us being level 100. I am willing to bet even some of the Endwalker Glamour, if you're looking at those for like Asphodelos type gear, will also be easy to farm. I believe that if you're in a full party and unsynced, you can clear P4S within 4 minutes or something. So I wouldn't necessarily call that challenging, even though it's savage content. If you unsync it, you can get some of those neat glamours from about a couple years ago. Now is a good time to level up your crafters and gatherers if you haven't done that before. It's not going to take the full patch. If that's not anything that you're interested in as well, I still implore you to try it out, just because it makes your own life easier and you can be self-sufficient, or don't. I don't care. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just giving you suggestions. Another thing that I think is going to be extremely useful for all types of content At some point in time, I don't want to say all types of content all the time because it's Blue Mage. There's a very limited amount of content that Blue Mage can do, but if you are going to grind fates in any area, it's extremely good. If you're going to work on old maps, it's extremely good. It will be brought up to level 90 at some point in the expansion. And there are a lot of spells and they do take a lot of time to catch up on. And there's just a ton to do there. So Blue Mage is another thing. Comes in handy in a lot of different quests, whether it be grinding some of the relic mats out for Shadowbringers and Heavensward areas, or just doing old maps. The Blue Mage has a lot of uses. So that's another thing that you can do. And then one of my favorite pieces of content is variant dungeons. It was often overlooked, or I think it's a very overlooked piece of content, with the 12 unique paths where you can get a mount from if you complete them all. It's one of my favorite pieces of content. You can solo it, you can find friends to do it. It's not hard. It gives you a bunch of unique actions where if I'm a healer, I can now have a DPS spell, which I believe is called Spirit Dart, and then you can do increased damage to the ads if you want, and it's just going to give you used to some of those different actions that classes can have in some of these special zones, which I think will be helpful when we finally get a new zone. And what would it be? I think it's going to be like 7.25. We're going to get a new relic / Eureka type zone, I believe. So if you just want to get used to some of those other actions, as I said previously, Eureka and Baj is a good place for those, but just having the simple understanding of how it works in Variant Dungeon, I think will translate well. I know I mentioned fishing. I'm just looking at my list here. And then, maps. Maps a good thing. Whether you want to do like achievements, make some gil, maps is a very good thing to do. Great way to kill time. And, you could get a weapon coffer and make 20 mil, and even though I've done 167 and counting maps, I still have yet to see one. So don't get your hopes up. But you could be luckier than me because I'm the most unlucky person on the planet. But anyway, and my last and not least thing, but I probably should have started off with this. Obviously, you can go play another game. You don't have to just play this game. I just give you a bunch of suggestions for those of you who wanted to play the game. But go play other games. There's a lot of other games out there. They're gonna go vote for the Game Awards. I don't know when I'm making this video. It could be this weekend. It could have been past. I don't know. But any of those options are good. I know Metaphor is good. I know Elden Ring, the DLC, was good. A bunch of good games just came out. So you can just play other games, log in every 44 days to keep your house. But with that being said, I hope I gave you enough ideas of things you can do in this. I don't want to call it downtime because it's not downtime, but for a lot of people, it's going to be a lighter patch. And I think that's a good thing. It's a good mix of the crowd of not feeling like you have to do everything every day. So that's just some of my suggestions. If you have more suggestions, please leave them down in the comments. I don't say this often, but like the video, subscribe to the video because people need reminders. And as always, have a great day.